Most people wake up every single day already defeated. The alarm rings, but instead of rising with purpose, they roll over, hit snooze, and waste their morning in hesitation. The phone lights up, and before they've even left the bed, they're already consumed by endless scrolling, by notifications, by distractions that drain their energy before the day has even begun. They dream of changing their lives. They dream of success, of greatness, of freedom. But they don't move. They wait. They wait for the perfect time, for the perfect opportunity, for motivation to magically appear. Here's the harsh truth. Winners are not built on motivation. Winners are built on discipline. Because motivation is fragile. It comes and goes like the wind. But discipline is solid. It's the foundation on which warriors, philosophers, artists, and legends are built. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want right now. It's sacrificing temporary pleasure for long-term greatness. And that, right there, is the mindset that creates legends. You are not unmotivated. You are simply undisciplined. Look at the great examples from Eastern philosophy and culture. Madara, in the Naruto universe, didn't wait for the world to accept him. He became so powerful that the world had no choice. The samurai of feudal Japan didn't train only when they felt like it. They trained every single day because their lives could depend on whether their sword was sharp. Zen monks didn't meditate because they were inspired. They meditated because they knew that an undisciplined mind is like a wild horse, running uncontrollably, dragging its master into chaos. And if you don't learn to tame your mind, it will enslave you. We live in an age of endless distractions. Social media, short videos, dopamine spikes every few seconds. According to Harvard Business Review, procrastination can cut productivity by up to 40%. A study published in Psychological Science showed that about 20% of the global population considers themselves chronic procrastinators. 1 in 5 people stuck in hesitation, waiting for motivation that will never come. And hesitation, that's where dreams go to die. The ancients knew something we've forgotten. Discipline means doing what must be done, no matter how you feel. Tired, anxious, scared, doubtful. It doesn't matter. Discipline ignores emotions and follows purpose. That's real power. Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." That is discipline. It's not about variety or waiting for inspiration or doing something when it's convenient. It's about consistency, repetition, and control. And if you think about it, every great victory on the battlefield, in business, in sports, in art, was won long before the actual fight. Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War, "Victorious warriors win first and then go to war. The disciplined prepare in silence. They win against themselves before they ever face the enemy." But we've been lied to. At school, they told us discipline meant staying in line, following rules, doing homework, keeping quiet. That's not discipline, that's conditioning. Real discipline is different. Real discipline is you doing what must be done, even when your entire mind screams at you to stop. It's not about obeying others, it's about mastering yourself. Because discipline is the path to self-control, and self-control is the path to freedom. Think about it. Either you control your mind, or your mind controls you. And in today's world, if you don't master your focus, you become a slave to distraction. Look around you. How many people do you know who keep putting off their dreams? How many people talk about someday, but never take the first step? How many keep waiting for the perfect moment? There is no perfect moment. There is only now. That's why you need to hear this message all the way through. Because in this video I'm going to show you 4 simple but powerful steps to build unshakable discipline. 4 steps to never lose focus again, even when your mind betrays you. But let me warn you right now, this channel is not for mediocrity. If you came here looking for quick hacks, easy shortcuts, or empty motivation, you can leave right now. This video isn't for you. This channel is for people who are tired of drifting. For people who want to win the silent battles that no one sees. For people who want to become so disciplined, so focused, so powerful that the world can no longer ignore them. If you're still here, good. That means something inside you is ready. Now, before we continue, I have a quick request. If this message is already making you think differently, if you believe it can change your life and maybe even the lives of others, consider becoming a member of this channel. By joining, you directly support this mission to bring real knowledge, real tools, and real transformation without sugarcoating, without illusions. Your support allows us to keep producing content like this, deeper, sharper, and more impactful every time. You'll find the link below, and I'll be honored to have you as part of this journey. Now get ready, because in the next moments, you're going to learn how to destroy procrastination, protect your focus, build powerful habits, and delay gratification in order to achieve greatness. But remember, everything begins here. Everything begins now. With a single decision. The decision to be disciplined. The greatest war you will ever fight doesn't happen out there. It's not against your boss, the economy, or your competition. The greatest war is inside your own mind. Every single day you wake up and face the same invisible enemy. The urge to delay, the comfort of doing nothing, the temptation of distractions, the weight of doubt. And whether you win or lose, that battle decides the entire course of your life. When people think of failure, they imagine massive mistakes, failed businesses, broken relationships, dreams collapsing. But the truth is, failure almost never begins with something big. Failure begins small. It begins with 5 more minutes in bed, with "I'll do it later," with "I'll start tomorrow." Tiny concessions that feel harmless in the moment, but accumulated over time, they steal entire lives. And this isn't just philosophy, it's measurable. According to the American Psychological Association, 70% of people admit that digital distractions harm their focus every day. A study from the University of California, Irvine, revealed that when you get distracted, it takes on average 23 minutes to fully regain focus. Think about that. Every time you check your phone, glance at notifications, or switch tasks, you're sacrificing nearly half an hour of your mental clarity. Multiply that by 5, 6, 10 distractions a day, and you'll realize why so many people feel exhausted, anxious, and unproductive. It's not that they lack time, it's that they lack focus. And this is where Eastern philosophy gives us timeless wisdom. In Japan, there's a concept called Kaizen, meaning continuous improvement. It teaches that small, consistent actions performed daily build enormous transformation over time. Discipline is not forged in one heroic act. It's forged in repetition, in gradual mastery. Another powerful idea is shuhari. It describes the 3 stages of learning. Shu, follow the rules and repeat. Ha, adapt and break the rules. Rai, transcend the rules and make them your own. Discipline follows the same path. At first, you force yourself to obey. Then you adapt it into your lifestyle, and eventually it becomes who you are. The tragedy is that most people never get past the first stage. They live stuck in hesitation. And hesitation, as the old saying goes, is where dreams go to die. So the question becomes, how do you win this invisible battle? How do you stop being enslaved by procrastination, distraction, and lack of willpower? The answer is simple. Just like a warrior never goes to battle unarmed, you cannot face your mind without weapons. And discipline gives you 4 of the sharpest weapons you will ever need. Weapon 1, the 1-second rule. The first weapon is deceptively simple. Procrastination is really just hesitation, and hesitation lasts only a few seconds. But it's enough to kill action. The 1-second rule says this: whenever you think about doing something important, don't wait, don't negotiate with yourself, don't give your brain time to invent excuses. Count to 1 and move immediately. If the alarm rings, don't think, get up. If there's a task you've been avoiding, don't debate, just start. Studies in the European Journal of Social Psychology prove this. Small, immediate decisions significantly increase task execution. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates change. The difference between staying stuck and building momentum is often just 1 second of hesitation. Weapon 2, protect your focus. Your second weapon is focus. But in today's world, focus is under constant attack. Every ping, every notification, every meaningless scroll is like a dagger cutting your attention into pieces. Most people justify their scrolling by saying, "I'm learning something." But here's the truth: the majority are drowning in excess. Information, too many voices, too many images, too many goals at once. Instead of inspiring you, this flood paralyzes you. Discipline means cutting away distractions like a swordsman cuts through enemies. Delete the apps you don't need. Silence notifications that steal your energy. Stop the endless scrolling. Study from Harvard Business School found that people who cut their social media use in half reported a 30% increase in productivity and well-being in just 2 weeks. That's how powerful protecting your focus really is. Your focus is your weapon. Guard it with your life or be destroyed by noise. Weapon 3, habit stacking. The third weapon is building habits that lock discipline into your identity. Discipline isn't built in a single day. It's built through systems, and one of the most effective systems is called habit stacking. Here's how it works. You link small, consistent habits together into a chain. For example, wake up, drink water, do 10 push-ups, meditate for 5 minutes. That chain becomes your daily armor. Research from Duke University shows that 40% of our daily actions are automatic, shaped by habit. In other words, nearly half your life runs on autopilot. If your habits are weak, your life is weak. If your habits are strong, your life is strong. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Build the right chains, and discipline becomes second nature. Weapon 4, delay gratification. The fourth weapon is the most difficult, but also the most powerful: learning to delay gratification. Discipline is the ability to say no to what feels good now in order to say yes to what matters later. This means choosing clean food over junk food, deep work over shallow scrolling, exercise over laziness. The famous Stanford marshmallow experiment proved this decades ago. Children who could delay gratification, who could resist eating 1 marshmallow now to get 2 later, grew up to have better academic results, healthier relationships, and stronger careers. That's the power of delaying gratification. It builds greatness into your future. Every time you say no to weakness, you sharpen your soul. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you step closer to freedom. These are your 4 weapons. But remember, knowledge without action is useless. You can admire the sword all day, but unless you pick it up and fight with it, nothing changes. The battle will come again tomorrow, and the day after that. And every day for the rest of your life. Comfort will whisper in your ear. Distractions will tempt you. Doubt will try to drag you back. But if you use these 4 weapons, if you choose discipline over comfort, you will grow stronger than any distraction. As the Dhammapada teaches, A man who conquers himself is greater than one who conquers 1,000 men in battle. That is the essence of discipline, the daily choice to conquer yourself. Now you understand the weapons, but how do you live with them? How do you turn discipline from a daily fight into a permanent way of life? How do you transform it from a battle into a fortress that no one can break? That is what we'll uncover in the next chapter. Because the ultimate truth is this: discipline is not prison, it's freedom. And when you master it, you don't just win battles, you win yourself. You've seen that discipline is a battle fought within. In the first chapter, we exposed the truth that most people live defeated, waiting for motivation instead of acting. In the second, we armed you with the tools to win the invisible battles of procrastination, distraction, and doubt. But now, it's time to understand the deepest truth of all. Discipline is not a prison. Discipline is freedom. When you lack discipline, you think you're free because you're doing whatever you want. But in reality, you're chained to impulses, chained to distractions, chained to the path of least resistance. Every time you surrender to the phone, the junk food, the laziness, you strengthen those chains. And one day you look back and realize your whole life has been stolen. Discipline breaks those chains. It feels heavy at first, but in truth, it's the most liberating force in existence. Because when you decide what you will do and then follow through, you are untouchable. You are no longer ruled by impulse, by fear, or by other people. You rule yourself. The ancient masters knew this. The samurai lived by the Bushido, the way of the warrior. To them, discipline was not optional. It was the very essence of existence. Their code demanded honor, self-control, and responsibility above all. Zen monks found discipline in simplicity, sweeping the temple grounds, preparing tea, meditating in silence. Each act performed with complete presence was a victory over the restless mind. Even the Stoic philosopher Epictetus declared, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And modern science now confirms what these traditions taught centuries ago. Researchers at Duke University discovered that about 40% of our daily actions are not conscious choices, but automatic habits. Think about that. Almost half your life is running on autopilot, which means if your habits are weak, your life will be weak. But if your habits are strong, your life will be strong. Angela Duckworth, a psychologist from the University of Pennsylvania, conducted groundbreaking research showing that discipline and resilience, what she calls grit, predict success more accurately than talent or IQ. The most intelligent and gifted are often surpassed by those who simply refuse to quit, those who stay consistent long after motivation has faded. This means you don't need to be a genius. You don't need luck. You don't need privilege. What you need is discipline, because discipline will outlast all of those. So let's be clear. The real question is not if you'll suffer. You will suffer either way. The real question is, will you suffer the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later? Think about your deepest dream. Maybe it's building a strong body, starting a business, passing that exam, writing a book, changing careers. Now, ask yourself, are you willing to suffer the small pain of training, studying, writing, working every single day? Or will you accept the far greater pain of looking back 10 years from now, realizing you could have been but never were? That's the choice discipline forces you to confront. Because here's the truth. The world does not reward potential. The world rewards execution. It doesn't matter what you could have been. It only matters what you choose to become. And discipline is the bridge between those two. Discipline is the path that turns I could into I am. Think of what happens when you build discipline. You wake up and feel pride instead of shame. Difficult tasks no longer crush you because they've become part of your rhythm. You stop waiting for motivation because your habits carry you forward. Distractions lose their power because you've already chosen what deserves your focus. And every small victory you win against yourself builds unshakable strength. That is true power. To be the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves. As a Zen master once said, when the mind is still, even sweeping the floor becomes an act of greatness. Discipline is not just about grand achievements. It's about mastering the ordinary moments until they transform into something extraordinary. Have you ever noticed how people with extreme discipline carry themselves differently? They walk into a room and everyone feels it, the aura of someone who has conquered battles the rest of the world never saw. That's not an accident. That's the invisible weight of years of discipline. That's the presence of someone who has mastered themselves. And now, you stand before the same decision. Will you keep living like everyone else, waiting for the perfect time, drowning in distractions, piling up regrets? Or will you decide here and now to build unshakable discipline? Don't wait for the right moment. It will never come. Don't wait for motivation. It's fleeting. Don't wait for permission. No one will give it to you. The only time is now. The only power you have is the decision you make today. Because when your mind becomes disciplined, the world itself bends to your will. The greatest victory is not over others. The greatest victory is over yourself. The samurai knew this. The monk knew this. The stoic knew this. And now, you know it too. Life will always hand you two types of pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You cannot escape pain, but you can choose which one you carry. If you've listened this far, it means you're ready. Something inside you is prepared for change. So I'll leave you with one last question. Will you remain a slave to your impulses, or will you become the master of your life? The decision is yours, and discipline is the way.